Is the fire your only source of light?
No, not yet anyway.
Okay. So I'm just gonna be eating dinner and letting you guys talk, yeah. Until I'm done, then I can add.
You're having an interesting day yesterday.
Interesting day?
Yeah. A lot of negative energies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I had some hate episodes going on yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
But when I made that video and like got it out of my system, and everybody like joined in and said they all felt the same thing, then like it somehow released it. Your internet. And then my day was amazing from then on.
Yeah, excellent. That's it. I'm pretty well, I've been in the bush a lot, so I just get out to nature and,
Just scream to the trees.
Yeah.
So, you're in Ontario? Quebec?
Yeah, Quebec.
Quebec, yeah. I always forget it's pronounced weird. Well, it's pronounced weird to me.
Yeah.
Quebec.
Yeah, the French part, eh? And like, the French think I'm English and the English think I'm French.
Do you do all the cliche Canadian things, like saying A every 3 words?
No.
No?
No. Like, it can happen. It comes in and out. My brother was bad for that.
Is your buddy Canadian too?
Yeah. Quebecer.
Quebecer?
But French one, a real one. Yeah, a real French one. Max. Hey.
So most Canadians are not real? What's up? What's the other guy's name?
He's fixing a hacksaw to cut some wood up.
Does he have a name?
Max.
Max?
Yeah, Max.
Cool. Welcome, Max.
Thank you.
So, Fabian, give us some details. How old are you? What kind of shit have you been through?
I'm 46, 47. Been through hell, But, you got to learn from it and stabilize yourself, and, you got to turn it to good. You have to. Or,
Or else become the devil?
Take what...
You either become good or you turn to the dark side, right?
Yeah. Like, when I went through my stuff a couple of years ago, and it was an accumulation of stuff, I had broke up with my ex. I had like a 3-4-year-old kid. Mm-hmm. His name's Kyle, and so that was really hard on me. And this is like after my brother had died, my mother had died. We had broken up, and it was like, the end of one major kind of thing, one realm. And went through. I grabbed my drums and headed out to this old place where we used to hang out when I was younger. Played music there. That abandoned mine.
That was the video you sent me, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I'll put the link for that video in the comments if people want to check it out.
Yeah.
You're sitting there like drumming it on a raft, right? Or are you on a raft? Are you in the water?
Yeah, makeshift raft. Yeah, just a makeshift raft just to do that. See? Yeah.
We'll have to switch over the phone.
Yeah, we'll have to switch over the phone because my battery's dying on mine.
Okay, you can join back on whatever device.
Yeah.
The same link should work. Might have to refresh the link.
What's the number?
The link?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
dying
me and
right
technology,
this moment?
Like, you know,
Oh. I have to have messenger.
yeah. So being out there at the mind alone, you know, going through my stuff with nothing, you know, like you get you in a system where whenever you do get down, you know, I had lost my license. I had no way of jumping back into the system, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, once you see that, you know, like to having a license to be moving to make money, you got to have a way for motion, you know.
Right.
So the system is like, it's rolling and nobody's in control, more or less.
Yep. That's the same opinion I came to. Because every single individual that... Sorry, I got like salmon, bad idea, but I put salmon in my macaroni. There's all kinds of bones in this thing. So I'm like choking on salmon bones. But yeah, the system is somehow... That's why I talk about the AI thing, because it doesn't seem run by a human. It seems like all the humans are sitting there scratching their heads and like fingers up their asses, like not knowing what's going on. If up and down the hierarchy, you know what I'm saying? I've talked to plenty of people. Not one of them has any clue. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's nothing stopping like individuals from taking control of their own life to as much extent as they can. Just they think like there's this big daddy somewhere like watching you, and there really isn't.
Well, you got to follow through with each. And the thing is that the trail is so friggin' messed up, like to where to start from it. You know what I mean? And who to confront on it.
Right.
It's like all hidden.
Right. It's like go to the bank and start talking about like the paper, you know, the straw man. Is that gonna work?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, you know, and
No, they're gonna be like,
they'll
what are you
just look
talking
at
about?
you. Exactly.
Lauda did that. I don't know if you watched that video, but she actually like walked into the bank and started asking these questions, and the bank manager actually was interested in what she was talking about. Like nothing got solved, but this whole idea of that, like, if you go into a bank and say, you know, what are you guys doing with this? What are you guys doing playing with numbers and like trying to order our lives? They won't have anything to tell you. They won't know why they're doing it. They'll just say, well, I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah, that's it. Nice. I'll check that out. Yeah, it's like you have to know, and then I guess there must be different branches in government you got to go see. Like when they're talking, like let's say for a vehicle or a motor vehicle, and when you look up the definition of that, well, you are a motor vehicle, really, like
The human
as
being?
definition goes.
The human is a motor vehicle?
Yeah, well, yeah, you got motorized parts. It's electric. It's the vehicle that you're sitting in, really.
Uh-huh.
I'll just go onto another phone.
Okay.
There we go.
We got two of you now.
There we go. This guy flipped off to the other phone. Back on this one. Oh, Jesus, an echo.
That's
Kill that.
All right.
It's gonna start repeating. We're gonna get an echo chamber going on pretty soon. Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
wait.
Okay.
Yeah. Whew. There we go.
It's better.
Yeah. So that's it. Like me, I took it out into the bush, and brought my drums there and said, like, the hell with everything and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I worked many jobs with many different kind of people. You know.
For how long have you been in the bush?
Oh, like since off and on since 2013, 2012, around like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but like, but we don't, you know, like I I spent like 3 years, 3 summers there, off and on. Like we head up there, and it's like a retreat that people go to. And when I started, I put up a teepee there, and just letting the people know, like what I'm going through. When they'd ask me where I come from, I'd look at them and say, well, I come from nature and earth. Like I. Whatever's on a name is only on a paper, so you get back to knowing what is real. I come from my mom, that's all I know,
Right. And how are you surviving as far as the essentials?
Aid for now.
Huh?
Social aid.
Okay. So you're getting a sustenance wage, basically?
Yeah.
And how is that accessible to people, or you have to fight tooth and nail to even get that if you're on hard times?
Well, it all depends. Like, you got to be verifiable for it. Like you got to have nothing. You know what I mean?
Do you have to provide proof that you've been searching for work and can't find it and all that stuff?
No. Like, because I won't go against myself. They know, like, I'm a. It's like, if you guys don't want to help me out in the least amount of ways, I'll just take it back to the bush. But, I'll take my own. See, that's where they play that game of, we'll give you a bit of money to support you in our kind of matrix. And if you want to, so you can't really go back to the bush because you need a bank account. Well, I don't got a bank account, but you need, to roll in that money scheme.
Yeah, right. So how do you cash your government checks then? Liquor store?
Well, I get like $650, $660 a month, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And pay rent with that, but I'm doing like big time studies, figuring out what the hell's going on, because you get to a point where you won't go against yourself, and you see the system is like a Hitler kind of, you're here at 8, and I'm not a machine. Like, I can give her hell on a job, let's say, and the last day I'm burnt. I'm not gonna beat my body out of bed because it's not my company. I'm there just to work at that. I'm losing the time myself. So it's just listening to yourself, because in the past I haven't, you know what I mean? I got up and I pushed myself, and I seen the consequences of it,
When you were in...
So you listen to your...
When you were in the society more so to speak, what was your trade?
Yeah.
What was your career?
Yeah, well, I was on construction, jackhammer.
Okay.
Always played drums since I was small. And that's what I consider myself first and foremost.
Were you ever in a band or like try to make something with that?
Yeah. But like it went, there's too much hoopla,
Mm-hmm.
The mindset wasn't right about it.
Yep. That's what I'm coming to understand myself, is that it is complicated when you're actually trying to do something, especially if you're trying to stay true to yourself. When you must, at a certain point, you must stay true to yourself. And then to take that to the outside world that doesn't care about people staying true to themselves. It has its own agenda, and it's not even a human agenda. It just wants to be moving numbers around and whatnot. You have to try and insert yourself in there and somehow still stay human. And it's not easy.
No, exactly. And if you want to create something, well, then they have it in a way that you have to do it and then put it out there in their manner.
Right. And if you're talking about like artistic or creative things, right? Like that kills the whole creative drive off the bat. Like off the bat, it's like, oh, sign 3 times, get it approved by the governor, and then make sure you go through the 10-year credentialing process, and then you can draw a picture for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Like my ex, she works at the hospital here, and she says, like, you got people that are on the floor working, and then you got in that offices and people in offices with paperwork, and people sitting there fucking just passing a paper. You know what I mean?
Yep. We have a lot of that.
Like I worked like after the construction on cleaning, I worked quite a different jobs, and cleaning it was for a big company, Sodexo Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
Learned how the big companies go on that, like how they don't give a shit about people, and they're tripping over like dollars to pick up pennies, just stupidness, just craziness.
Right. Yeah, it's that's why I try to always stress that we may have been in a time in the past where there were actually like living human beings defending these sort of monsters that companies have become, but we're not exactly in that realm. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some defense to it, but we're in a different space where it's more just running by itself, and all the people inside of it are simply following what the machine says, and there's not like a real human being sitting there that's going to try and fight you if you come and do something with your life,
Yeah, it's all angled in that way, like everybody thinks, well, that's just the way it is, But from the get-go, we haven't been told squat, or have been, like, I remember my first day at school was like a complete horror to me.
What?
I thought I was learning right up until there,
Like kindergarten? What
when they
first
told me
day?
I was going to go somewhere to learn, it's like, fuck, I know how to walk.
Well, are you talking about like first day of school, or college, or high school, or what?
Yeah, no, first day of school,
As a kid.
Yeah, when I was I think I was 6 or something like that, just to sit in the class and pay that attention and not move. It was horrifying.
So you remember that? Like, you actually remember being there on your first day?
Oh yeah, I cried for a good week,
I don't know what that feels like because I was homeschooled. I know what the first day of school felt like because I was in like 8th grade, but as far as, and it was kind of horrifying then as well for me, but it was also like, for me, it was different because I kind of knew, I already knew I was different from everybody else because I'd been secluded. So it was, I was in a new environment. I was actually sort of excited, even though like everybody shit on me for the first day for looking different and having like wearing sweatpants and not knowing how to talk to anybody. all these taboos that I didn't know I was breaking.
Yeah. Well, I break them all now. I've learned.
Yeah, nobody cares if you break them. It's all like automatic stuff that we get ingrained in ourselves.
Well, what really counts is that if you care,
right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what the other people think. That's their own judgment to themselves. As long as you know who you are and who you want to be, and what you stand for.
Yeah. I think even that is important to know yourself, but even so, I think we still hold these ideas that other people are going to do something, they're going to react so badly, and we don't even try it because we're scared to see how the reaction is going to be. I think we even overestimate people caring about like you changing a hairstyle or doing something different.
Yeah. Well, me, it's because I'm pretty well way out there, actually. I let my hair dread out. I got some copper wrapping in my hair. I never buy new clothes. Maybe socks and underwear. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't try not to waste. I don't want nothing really. Except to be well and for other people to be well.
Right. Yeah, and that's the. I guess that would be the push, if there is a push, is just to getting to where people can get past the dogma shit, like past the personal beliefs, that the personal, like, it's almost like personal preferences that are touted as truth, you know what I'm saying? And then spread out in that manner. It's like, no, I've said this before, it's like, no, your red color crayon is not better than my green color crayon. It's not, it's like, why are we having war over red versus green or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're like stabbing somebody, unless physical violence is happening or actual like torture and rape, then you're arguing over like P's and Q's. Like what's even going on?
Yeah, exactly. And like me, like setting up my drums in the mine, and I was under the stars and every night. So you're waking up in a teepee, you're actually hearing the wind and the leaves. Yeah. Hearing the fire crackle. It's a lot rougher, but it's a lot like richer in a way, you know, a lot, because like at that mine, because it's a quartz dome mine, you can't get any reception there,
Mm-hmm.
so it like blocks out any airwaves.
That's good.
And
I mean, get away
yeah.
from the EMF bath, you know, like
Yeah, exactly.
when I spend some time out away, even if it's just an hour or something away from all this, like even now, you know, you hear the jet and there's people and there's like electric, you just feel this stuff everywhere. It's like, it numbs you. I can tell that I've been numbed by having all of this shit just constantly piped into my system day in, day out.
Oh yeah, like big time. Like I'll be passing and I'll see like friends that are getting like aggravated and they don't know why and they're fighting over stupid little things. Like, so I come in and like say, hey guys, you know, like, what the fuck you guys, you know, just remind them, you know.
Right.
And at the same time, kick them for saying, you know, stop watching them friggin' TVs, you know, like.
Right. Yeah.
But like, when I went through my like, well, awakening and downfall actually too, whenever I have my child, like I'd circle myself with like a lot of kids. Like I love kids, you know, and family. Like it's so important.
Uh-huh.
And that's what they've completely ripped at, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
It's systemic also. I mean, it's the same things happened with me. Same things happened with Steven in a worse fashion. It's the same story everywhere. Like, they get you together with this law system, this binding contract system, and then they punish you for separating what needs to be separated. Like, the two people need to be apart, and then they punish both parties and the children at the same time.
Yeah. But they work it in a way that the pressure on the families these days are like so high that you can't keep it together. It's like it's doomed.
There's no room for contemplation or self-reflection, or even to like look at the life that you're living and make sure, you know, is this what I want to be doing with my kids? Is this how I want to be teaching them? Is this what I want to be exposing them to with myself? Do I want this to be happening? We don't have time for that, you know. It's all worried about getting dollars and whatnot.
Yeah. Like same thing. Like for me, Christmas and stuff. You know, like I came to that realization that with my son, like. I cannot buy a gift to reflect my love I have for you, because you got other people that are buying you like iPhones, and you know, like I could get you maybe a dollar phone store or something, or you know what I mean? Yeah. So it really has to go to the value of the real thing, you know, because kids are just opening up presents, opening up the next one, and you know.
Yeah.
So it's like knowing how to show. And many times it'll take years for the kid or the person to look back on what has been said or learned and say, oh, yeah, I see it now, you know, like.
Right. Yeah, because it takes a while to see programming. It took me a long time to see programming, not just in the society, it's easier to see, but even like within your own family and seeing how people get in their own things, and it's still happening. It's not like everybody's just all of a sudden out of it.
Oh hell no!
Everyone's running. I'm still running a program. You're still running somewhat of a program, maybe less than we started out with, but these things are deeply ingrained.
It's the same thing for everybody, you know. Like it's not one versus or better. It's learning your own self. Like you know, like I remember in the mind, I was just trying to get out of there at one point because I had no more food, you know. And I didn't want to, you know, come back into the town, look for a job, and try and get my license and crank this thing back up again. It's like, fuck, I'm done playing this shit game, you know, like. So I started coming down, and I was trying to wrap a motorbike that I had. The back tire was flat, so I was taking a fence off, and I was wrapping the fence around the tire really tight so I can get out of the bush. And in doing so, my frustration, my mind getting back to me where I think I am, you know, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And pulling on the pliers, and the pliers just let go, and I blew out my front teeth, And that was like, you know, and at the same time, I thought right away at my mom. I don't know why, my mom came into my head. and because she had passed away not long before that.
Yeah.
And it was like a mirror, you know, like I was more than, but I could have took it really bad, which I did too, you know what I mean? Like, but it was like, you either learn from it, adjust to it and get over it, or you're going to be fucking piling this shit upon shit upon shit, like for the rest of your life, and you're not going to like it, you know what I mean?
Right. That's tough. So you're just missing your front 2 teeth then? Still?
Oh, fuck no, fucking lot of teeth, man.
You're missing a lot of teeth?
Oh, yeah.
But you're okay with it, hopefully somewhat?
Well, yeah, for sure, what I can be. Oh, yeah, like, you know, I got no infection or nothing like that. It's just, you know, and that's another thing, like, you know, teeth, you got to readjust. And I remember when I was young in school, you know, they'd have these little fluoride packlets. You'd rip it open and squish that around, spit that out, and drink a thing of milk, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure that didn't help too much.
Fluoride's everywhere. Well, I mean, yeah, teeth are tough also because, like, for instance, I don't even have health insurance myself. Like, I'm sure I have cavities going on. I would have to, like, pay out of pocket if I would want to get dental work right now. And I'm not even as far as you are as far as being out of the system. Like, I'm working and, you know, bringing in money and stuff like that, but the system still is making it hard for me to survive, and I can't even, like, afford a place right now. I'm working full time, like 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and it is what it is, you know? Like, that's the way the system is right now.
Yeah. I completely feel you there. Like, it's nuts. And it could be so much easier. Like, you know, it's just like, get out of the way, man. You know, like, get out of our way. You know?
Yeah.
You make too much money, you got to pay out more money. You got to pay for this.
Well,
it's just,
if you look at the timeline for this particular timeline, our technology has increased from, you know, the late 1800s till now, and technology is supposed to be making it easier on your life, not where everyone has to work, instead of 40 hours a week, everyone has to work 60, and both parents have to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever.
No, it's a losing battle. Like, I seen that when I had at the mine, we were like in there for a tent, and I think it was a year or two. It was in like a tent, and then the tent would break up, and I had decided to make a teepee. Well, before making a teepee, I was out there and I tried to put up like almost like the Greek style, you know, square tent, and the wind was like giving me hell. Like, oh man, it was, because as soon as I put up a tarp, the wind would blow it and friggin'. So I go to bed that day, and that night I have a dream, and as I'm waking up from that dream, I'm sitting in a circle with these Indians, and we're all laughing. I'm laughing with them, but as I'm waking up, I feel that they're laughing at me, like, because I'm going against nature. I'm trying to stop the wind, like, with a tarp, and they found that really funny, like. So then I said to myself, yeah, fuck, I'll make a teepee, because, like, it's respecting somewhat nature. Like, you don't have that telling the wind more or less to stop. You know,
you got the aerodynamics going on, yeah. That's good.
And it was really like this is after I got my cymbals. A year after I got my cymbals stolen off from my drums down at the mine, because I'd have to leave every 2 weeks and come and spend the weekend, which I loved, with my son. So I'd have to leave everything there, and leave for a weekend, and then come back like 3-4 days after, and hopefully everybody respect me, you know.
Yeah. Do you still see your son?
They did all that summer. I was really lucky all that summer, but come August, there's, you know, somebody stole the cymbals while I was gone at a party, and at a family party, and so that was like a really kicker. That.
Yeah. Can you replace them?
Slowly, I'm going to be replacing them. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still seeing your son weekly or not?
Every second weekend.
And how old is he?
13.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is he your only child?
Yeah. And he was born with a cleft lip and palate, like.
Yeah.
what they call like
Like the split lip?
a rabbit lip there.
Yeah. Does he still have
And
it?
that too also, like that was like all learning experience. Like you don't push anything away, you know what I mean? You don't turn anything negative. Everything is so easy to turn negative these days.
Right. So
and I wouldn't change it. Like to go back, I wouldn't change a thing.
Did he get surgery, or he still has it?
Oh no, he has he got a surgery and all that. That was no problem there.
Okay.
Lucky for that, really.
Yeah.
But he likes it with his mom, you know what I mean? Like the in the system kind of thing.
Right.
Which is good because he sees the balance, you know. And her and I, like, well, we don't fight. We never screamed at each other. There is no need for that, you know. There's always an understanding. Like,
do you hang out with her at all? Like when you see your son? Do you hang out with her at all?
Less as possible.
Yeah.
But we still get along, you know what I mean? Like when I was in my teepee, it was like hilarious. Like, no, was it in the teepee? Yeah, I was in the teepee. I had my drums up, and she was going out with. She had met a guy at the hospital, so he's like, "Well, I gotta go. I gotta show you these guys up by my place. They got drums," and she didn't say nothing. So they arrived there with a case of beer, and he gets out. Oh yeah, that's my girlfriend, and she's like, that's my ex, and the guy's like, you know. It was like just so funny, you know.
So she let it go, like she didn't try and.
Yeah, that's it. And we all laughed, you know, like, and they had came back. He's a cool guy, you know.
That's
I hope the best. That's all you can do is hope the best for her, you know what I mean, or whoever, man.
I kind of like found out that it's rough for everybody in this system. I don't care which part of it you're in. I don't care if you're the president or if you're head of a $1 billion company. It's rough for everybody right now.
Yeah.
Because, like, more money, more stress. No matter what you're doing, if you're making a bunch of money, you got to keep up with the Joneses and be all gung-ho for the materialist bullshit. And if, you know, it's like, there's just shit on both sides of it. Yeah.
That's why, like, when I was at the mine, like, the people, like, you know, like, in my teepee, the way it was situated, they'd be like, I'd have a couple like just changing their clothes down, and I'd have to say like, excuse me, and they'd look at me and jump and like, you know, think I'm like, I've been here for a while there. You know, like,
yeah, like you're changing in front of my like porch right here. Do they get upset like seeing that you're watching?
No. Most of the people are like really cool, and they'd come into the teepee, I'd show them around, and they'd like just freak because I guess they'd have a feel for me, like how I wasn't stressed and not caught up in their stuff, you know. And they were like, "Wow, like this is where it's at," you know, kind of thing. You know, I had this Brazilian guy walk in there with his family, and I let his kids play on the drums, like I think 5 and 6 year old, little boy, little girl, and they just went crazy on the drums, both of them, Eddie.
Nice.
Kids like, let him go, you know, I'll replace whatever needs to be replaced after, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, this guy has no stress, you know, he's not stressed.
Yeah, dude, we need like, it's bad on both sides. Like, it's bad for you have the peace now, right, of being in nature most of the time, but then you're also getting the shit end as far as being able to take care of yourself.
Yeah, well,
from
it's
the
like
system.
A balancing act, you know.
But then everyone over here who's in
nature.
Everyone over here who's in their box houses is getting full of EMFs and consumerism. So like both sides, we need to find the balance, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like go back to nature and bring a little bit of civilization, but don't build giant cities that are just like covering the entire land up and skyscrapers for no reason other than money. Like there has to be a little bit more integrity in how we're developing the land, you know?
Yeah, and morality, you know. like me now, like just to cut a tree down, like I tell my son, you know, like don't cut no trees. Like they're giving them away. It's like anything on a 45-degree angle is gray and ready to burn right away. You know what I mean? So you just pick it up and like some people would come whenever I'd be gone, like they'd steal my axe, my saw, so I'd come back and I'd have like no axe, no saw, no nothing. The teepee crashed, you know, because people would go there and party, you know, that's fun.
Wow.
And so I'd be just grabbing logs and busting them in rocks, you know, and it'd make it even easier for me, you know, like anybody walking into a forest with an axe don't know where the hell they're going. Like, what are you going to cut with an axe? You know, you're going to burn it next year and it's going to take you all a friggin' year to cut through it with an axe.
So they needed your saw?
Okay.
They needed your saw?
I just bust it up. I just bust everything up. Like, you get two rocks or two trees, and you just push on it, and you'll bust it into the size you need.
You're talking about like the already dry, like branches that have fallen off?
That's it.
Yeah.
Like this stuff here, like this driftwood, I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, it has no smoke. It's like a nice gray wood, you know?
Yeah. Fast burning?
Well, not bad. Depends what kind of wood it is, eh? Yeah. But I'd have people come in there and be cutting down trees, and I'd have to say, like, don't cut no trees, man. Like, please. Because there's not going to be any left, like, you know?
Yeah.
And then some people I'd let them cut, you know, because it's emotional. You can hear them just whacking at that tree. It's like, you let that guy cut the tree down.
Or he might turn and cut you instead.
Yeah, like emotional thing.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, society has a way to see it, but nature had another way for us. And it's like, when you're thinking of it this way, you're like, what did she had for us that we're passing aside, while that society's actually taking over our minds and shit like that through programs and through subconscious fucking shit that they put into everything that we're not necessarily seeing while we're watching it. And, you know, I'm still asleep. I'm 100% asleep, and I know it. But I'm trying to wake and then up, and it's,
you're like turning over in your sleep. You know, you turn over, fart a little bit, you know, come back.
Yeah, exactly. It's like getting an eye open a little and fucking close it back. It's not pretty.
Well, it's like when you drive by McDonald's and it's like, man, I eat a Big Mac. And then you ask yourself, why am I saying to myself, I eat a Big Mac? You know, there's something wrong there.
Right. You're like, I don't like the taste of it. It makes me feel like I need to vomit afterward, but for some reason, something is still telling me I need to eat it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I know it doesn't ever like decompose for 8 years, you know, but still, I need to eat it for some reason.
Yeah, well, I keep away from that. Like me, I find like I eat right out of the ditches, man. It's green, you know, like clover tops and stuff, so like in the summer and stuff. Whatever's wild, I make this wine out of wild grapes.
Oh yeah?
That's wine.
Yeah.
That wine, man, it's like, you would buy that like $100 a bottle and still.
Yeah, you got your own little winery going on?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's something I learned, like, when I was out at the mine, I said, well, what can I do and maybe have a chance to survive, you know? And I know I really like rocks, quartz and stuff, and I like wood, you know, and like driftwood.
Yeah.
So I make hammocks out of vines, these vines. And it's like a little pod, you know, you'd hang off a lake or something there, and it's all vine, no nails, no glue, no nothing. And
cool.
So I learned how to do that, and it's like these vines have these little grapes, and these little grapes make like really good wine, you know.
How long does it take to ferment properly?
To ferment, well, same thing as other wines, they're more or less.
Like, well, I don't know how long other wines take. How long does it take?
Well, I
A
think
couple
it's
months?
like 2 months.
Yeah?
2 months, I think.
Okay.
Like me, I get the wine, and I bring it over to a friend of mine that he'll make it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we like have different attributes, actually, you know. Like I don't know much about the wine, nor do I want to really have to deal with it. So I'll bring all the grapes I get and bring it over to a friend, and he loves making wine.
Okay.
You know, so I bring him these grapes that are. I bring him these grapes that are like, they decided to grow there. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't in a field. It's not no plan. Nature. They're right in line with nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just a heads up. Whatchamacallit, Zoom is telling me we have basically, well, it was 10 minutes a couple minutes ago, so it's trying to cut the meeting short. So we have maybe 5 or 6 more minutes.
Cool. Well, anytime
yeah,
it goes.
Yeah. This is actually the first time Zoom has tried to cut me off in, I don't know, 20 Snail shows. Like, I've been doing these things forever, and it hasn't been...
For real?
Yeah. I mean...
Maybe you don't like the real stuff.
At the very beginning, it was doing it for, like, the first 5, and then it stopped completely, and I was going for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and this is the first time in months and months and months.
Well, we're just talking about fires and shit, you know?
That's weird. Yeah, it might be just because you just downloaded Zoom. Maybe for some reason, if somebody's like the first time user, then they bring the restriction back.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Possibly, I don't know. So,
yeah.
So what? Max is the other guy's? What's the other guy's name?
Yeah. Max. He has his girlfriend. He has 2 kids. It's Malik, who's 2.5. And he has a recently newborn who's a month.
Oh wow! Congrats.
Yeah. So he's under the fucking gun
How
now.
did you guys meet? Have you been friends for a while?
Oh no, my mom kicked me out back in the day. She said to me, if you go see one person in particular, I'm gonna grab some of your stuff, put it in a garbage bag, and leave it on the door porch. So I was like, okay, well, I'll show you. I'm sick of it. And she was fucking saying that to me all the time, and I was sick of it. So I said, yeah, you want to do it? Well, let's do it. I grabbed my shit, and I packed off, and I left to my buddies, and he knew Fabian, and he referred that guy to me to say, well, you got to meet that guy. He needs a place. He had a room. I went there, and he didn't charge me nothing. It was really cool. And after that, we've been living together for a year or so, and we're still friends.
8 years? Or
yeah, we've been friends for like about 10 years. From.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, he was like a teenager when I was going through my stuff, and I had rented an apartment, and I didn't think. I thought he was older. He looked older than that, you know. Until he got with kids, and I'm like, what? You know, how old is this guy? He was like 15, 16, something like that.
he had his first baby when he was 15?
No, your first kid was, you were what? How old? Your first child?
My first child is 2 and
No, but you, how old were you?
Me? I was 20.
You were 20,
yeah.
Okay. So you were pretty young.
Yeah. Well, I had to do quick because I didn't know my grandparents, and I wanted them to know their grandparents, so I wanted to do fast.
Okay.
Because my parents are getting old.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's still cool. We have like 4 generations that knows each other, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. My kid
pretty good.
My kid never got to meet his grandmother on her side, or actually both of my grandparents on my mom's side. They died before he was born.
Yeah, that's bad. I didn't.
But that's like
great.
That's like great grandparents for him though. Like as far as parents, he was only missing my ex's mother.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what it is. People don't last forever.
Well,
Yeah.
People tend to die every once in a while.
Looks like it.
That's been the tendency anyway.
Like with my brother, when he passed away, my older brother, I was close with him, and he died of cancer. And he was living in Thunder Bay, and he had a child that was the same age as my kid, so we hadn't seen each other for a while. So I went, that was another rocker that rocked me, like at the end. But you learn from it in different ways. Like,
how old was your brother?
He was 44, I think.
And was it like a lung cancer or a liver cancer?
It was prostate, I think.
So was it something? Was it a bad habit that caused it, or you don't know why?
Yeah. An accumulation, I'd say. Like, of not taking care of your body and you know, stress and you know.
Yeah, I think the diseases are caused a lot more by our energetic sort of present moment, how we carry ourselves, what we're ingesting mentally, whether we're able to stay present or not. All that stuff factors into it more so, I think, than necessarily what exactly they're eating. Even I think you can even be smoking, and if you have like, if you're really with it as far as energetically, you can probably even avoid cancer that way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I smoke, and it's not something that you want to fight against because it could be worse. You know, if you're always telling yourself, "I gotta smoke, I gotta quit smoking, I gotta quit smoking," you know, because then you're creating yourself more thought stress kind of thing.
Yeah, you're adding stress on top of what damage the cigarettes are already doing.
Yeah, but I'm always on pedal bike. I pedal miles and miles, and I'm in pretty good shape for my age. I'll be climbing up trees and looking at my son and saying, you know.
No, you got good energy. Like
age,
I wouldn't have put you at like 47. I would have put you earlier, younger than that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably a natural
Sunday,
byproduct of being outside all the time.
Yeah, yeah. But I seen many like when your first videos, like when you were with your son, like I was remembering back with myself with my son and how, you know, how precious that is.
Yeah.
You know, the moments, you know.
Especially if you don't get too many of them, right?
Yeah, yeah. So like me and my son, we you know hit them completely openly. Like just last weekend, we were out by the river and we had a security guard come and try and kick us out, and I was ready to say like, you know, but never like I'll never be mad or ignorant at somebody or like no respect, like, but I'll tell them like do what you got to do, but you know there's a raccoon, there's fish, there's spiders here, man.
Right.
You know, like
right.
I'm cooking dinner, you know, if you want some, you know. So she goes, I'll call the cops. I go, oh, okay, we'll call the cops, but do what you got to do. I'm going to eat and then I'll leave, you know. But as soon as she said police, my son was like, Dad, let's get out of here, you know. Like, he doesn't want to get that to his mom, you know. Mom,
yeah, right. He doesn't want to get grounded for getting in trouble with the police.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, I'm the grown up here, you know. You know, this is what I know, this dude, you know.
Hey,
we're not building McDonald's here, you know.
Yeah. I want to wrap this up, Fabian, because I don't like it when the thing just shuts off and I don't get to say goodbye and whatnot. So,
all right, man.
We're like a minute shy. It was good having you on. All perspectives are welcome. So, you're welcome to come back on whenever you feel you want to or whatever. Just hit me a text or something or email. However you connect. How do we connect?
Yeah, whatever.
Facebook.
Go with the flow, eh?
Yeah. And good to meet you, Max.
Yeah, you too.
Yep.
It was nice.
Yeah.
We'll come have a campfire together sometime, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure, you're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.